My beloved child, listen to me in the quiet place of your heart. What you have been feeling is not the end of peace. It is not a sign that you are falling apart. It is not proof that I have turned away from you. The stirring within you is mercy. I do not wait until your soul is completely lost before I speak. I do not wait until every door has closed, every desire has grown cold, and every prayer has become only a memory. I come while there is still breath in your longing. I come while the flame is still small, while your heart can still turn, while your spirit can still recognize that something in your life needs to return to me. My beloved child, this is not condemnation. Condemnation drives you into hiding. Mercy calls you out with tenderness. Condemnation says you are finished. Mercy says, come back while there is still life. Condemnation makes you afraid to look at yourself. Mercy gives you courage to bring the hidden places into my light. Hebrews chapter 3 verse 15 says today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your heart. Notice that word today. Not when you feel ready, not when you have solved every weakness, not when you have become strong enough to stand without help. Today, I am speaking into this moment because this moment still carries hope. You may have wondered why certain things no longer feel the same. A habit that once distracted you now leaves you empty. A conversation that once entertained you now feels shallow. A place you once returned to for comfort now feels heavy. My beloved child, do not rush to call this sadness. Sometimes it is awakening. Sometimes it is my hand gently touching the places where you have been sleeping. I am not making you uncomfortable to punish you. I am making false comfort harder to keep. I am disturbing the numbness that kept you from noticing how far your heart had drifted. I am not tearing you away from life. I am drawing you back into life. Think of a shepherd who sees one sheep wandering toward a dangerous edge. The shepherd does not wait until the sheep has fallen. He calls. He moves closer. He interrupts the wandering before the loss becomes deeper. My beloved child, that is what I am doing within you. The stirring is not rejection. It is my voice calling you before you go farther into what cannot feed you. You have tried to silence this stirring with busyness. You have told yourself you were only tired. You have tried to cover it with noise, scrolling work conversation, or the old patterns that once helped you avoid the truth. But even in the noise, something inside you keeps whispering that you were made for more than this half-awake life. That whisper is not your enemy. It is mercy. Psalm chapter 34 verse 18 says that I am near to the brokenhearted and save those who are crushed in spirit. My beloved child, I am not far from you in your trembling. I am not offended by the places where you feel fragile. What you call weakness I can use as an opening. What you call restlessness I can turn into return. What you call tears I can turn into healing water. There are parts of you that have grown used to dimness. You did not choose it all at once. It happened slowly. One compromise, one disappointment, one wound you never brought fully into my presence. One prayer you stopped praying because you were tired of waiting. One desire you buried because hoping felt painful. Little by little the soul can begin to settle for less than life. But I have not forgotten the life I placed in you. I am stirring you because I remember who you are beneath the dust. I remember the tenderness you hid. I remember the faith that was wounded but not dead. I remember the fire that became small but did not disappear. I remember the person you were before fear taught you to shrink. I am not calling you back to shame. I am calling you back to truth. My beloved child, when mercy touches the heart, it may first feel like unrest. It may feel like a question you cannot escape. Why am I living this way? Why do I feel distant from what once mattered? Why am I no longer satisfied with what used to distract me? Why do I feel drawn to pray again, even if I do not know what to say? Do not be afraid of those questions. They are not here to accuse you. They are doors. Walk through them with me. Ask me honestly what I am showing you. Ask me where your heart has become tired. Ask me what has been slowly taking life from you. Ask me what I am inviting you to release. I will not crush you with the answer. I will guide you with mercy. Revelation chapter 3 verse 20 says, Behold, I stand at the door and knock, my beloved child. I do not break the door down, I knock. I wait, I call. I honor the freedom I gave you, because love does not force itself into the room. But when you open even a little, I come with life, not accusation. So today, do not harden your heart. Do not run from the stirring. Do not bury it beneath another layer of distraction. Do not tell yourself it is too late. It is not too late. If I am calling, hope is still present. If I am stirring, grace is still moving. If I am touching your heart, then the story is not finished. I am closer than the ache you cannot explain, closer than the fear you cannot name, closer than the silence you thought meant I had left you alone. My beloved child, let this be the beginning of your return. Not a dramatic return for others to see, but a quiet turning within you. A soft yes, a small opening, a breath of honesty, a prayer as simple as, Father, I hear you. Lead me back to life today. And as you begin to listen, you will learn that my voice does not always arrive through thunder. I often speak gently, softly, deeply, in a way only a softened heart can recognize. This is where I will lead you next, into the quiet wonder of how I speak in a gentle voice. My beloved child, as you begin to listen to the stirring of mercy within you, I want you to understand how I often speak. I do not always come with thunder. I do not always shake the ground beneath your feet. I do not always interrupt your life with something so loud that every person around you must notice. Many times I come in a gentle voice. A gentle voice does not mean a weak voice. My whisper carries more power than the noise of the world. My stillness can reach places that storms cannot touch. My quiet word can enter the room of your heart where fear has been hiding, where shame has been sitting, where weariness has made you numb. I do not need to overwhelm you to transform you. My beloved child, you have been trained by the world to value what is loud. Loud opinions, loud emotions, loud proof, loud promises, loud urgency. But the deepest work of my spirit often begins where noise loses its throne. It begins when you become still enough to notice that I have been near all along. Remember Elijah. He had seen fire fall. He had stood through great confrontation. Yet after the victory, his soul became tired. He fled into the wilderness, worn down by fear, pressure, and loneliness. He needed more than another display of power. He needed my nearness in a form his exhausted heart could receive. 1 Kings chapter 19 says, "There was a great wind, but I was not in the wind. There was an earthquake, but I was not in the earthquake. There was a fire, but I was not in the fire." After that came a gentle whisper. My beloved child, this is important. I did not meet him according to the drama around him. I met him according to the need within him. There are times when your heart is too tired for another storm. You do not need more pressure. You do not need someone demanding that you be stronger immediately. You do not need the sound of accusation. You need the voice that can find the remaining ember inside you and breathe life into it without breaking you. That is how I speak to you now. Not with cruelty, not with panic, not with the harshness of one who has run out of patience. I speak as the one who knows exactly where you are fragile and exactly how to touch you without crushing you. My beloved child, you may have missed my voice because you expected it to sound like fear. You thought guidance would always come as pressure. You thought correction would always feel like shame. You thought a serious word from me would make you want to hide. But my voice is different. Even when I correct you, I call you toward life. Even when I uncover what is wrong, I do it with mercy. The voice of fear says, "You are too far gone." My voice says, "Return." The voice of shame says, "Hide your weakness." My voice says, "Bring it into my light." The voice of pressure says, "Fix everything now or lose your worth." My voice says, "Come to me, and I will teach you the next step." Matthew chapter 11 verse 28 says, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." My beloved child, my invitation begins with come, not prove yourself first. Not clean every room of your heart before you approach. Not become strong enough to deserve my attention. Come, bring the tired heart, bring the trembling prayer, bring the silence that has no words left. This gentle voice may come to you in a morning quietness before the world begins speaking. It may come through a verse that suddenly feels alive. It may come through a tear that loosens the knot in your chest. It may come through the soft conviction that a certain path is no longer life-giving. It may come through peace that settles after you surrender what you were trying to control. Do not despise those quiet moments. The world may not applaud them, no one may see them, but heaven sees. I can begin a holy turning in a moment so small that others would call it ordinary. A chair beside a window, a quiet drive, a prayer whispered while your hands are tired, a breath between one anxious thought and the next. I can meet you there. My beloved child, my gentle voice does not compete with noise. It invites you out of it. If you keep filling every empty space, you may struggle to hear what I am saying. If you never allow silence, you may mistake my patience for absence. If you run from stillness because stillness reveals what you feel, you may also run from the place where I want to heal you. But I am patient. I will not force you into silence like a punishment. I will invite you into silence like a shelter. I will teach you that quiet is not emptiness when I am there. It is a room of meeting. It is where the soul stops pretending and begins receiving. Psalm chapter 23 says that I lead beside quiet waters and restore the soul. Notice, my beloved child, restoration does not always happen in rushing water. Sometimes I lead you beside what is quiet because your soul needs a place where striving can stop. There you learn that my gentleness is not distance. My gentleness is care. You may ask, how will I know this gentle voice is mine? Listen for its fruit. My voice may convict, but it will not condemn. It may challenge, but it will not destroy. It may expose, but it will not humiliate. It may ask you to release something, but it will not leave you hopeless. It will carry truth and mercy together. My beloved child, begin to make room for my gentle voice. Pause before you answer every pressure. Breathe before you run back into old patterns. Open my word before the world writes fear across your mind. Sit with me when tears rise. Do not explain them away. Let me speak beneath them. I am nearer than the loudest fear. I am steadier than the strongest emotion. I am kinder than the voice that has judged you for so long. And when you learn the sound of my gentleness, you will stop confusing my call with condemnation. Do not be discouraged if this learning feels slow. A heart that has lived among many harsh sounds may need time to trust a gentle one. I do not rush that healing. I repeat truth with patience. I return with tenderness. I keep calling until your soul begins to believe that love can speak softly and still be holy for you. This is why I will now lead you into the story of Samuel. He heard my voice before he knew how to recognize it. He needed to learn how to listen rightly. So do you, my beloved child. I am speaking, but I am also teaching your heart how to answer. My beloved child, now that you know, my voice often comes gently. I want to teach you how to listen like Samuel. He heard me before he understood that it was me. He was near the place of worship. He was surrounded by holy things. Yet even there, he still needed to learn the sound of my call. This should comfort you. Not recognizing my voice immediately does not mean you are rejected. It means you are learning. Samuel was not condemned because he ran to Eli first. He was being trained. His heart was willing, but his discernment was still young. My beloved child, I am patient with a willing heart that is still learning how to hear. You may have heard me many times and thought it was only a thought. You may have felt a gentle pull and dismissed it as emotion. You may have sensed conviction and thought it was only discomfort. You may have felt peace rise in an unexpected place and thought it was coincidence. But I have been teaching you slowly, kindly, and personally. 1 Samuel chapter 3 verse 10 says, "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening." Those words did not come from a heart that had everything figured out. They came from a heart that became available. Listening begins with availability. It begins when you stop assuming you already know what I will say. It begins when you make room for my voice to interrupt your old patterns. My beloved child, many voices have spoken into you. The voice of fear, the voice of disappointment, the voice of people who misunderstood you, the voice of pressure telling you to hurry, the voice of shame telling you to hide, the voice of old pain telling you not to trust again. I am teaching you to know the difference between those voices and mine. My voice may correct you, but it will not crush you. My voice may reveal what is hidden, but it will not humiliate you. My voice may ask you to release what you have loved, but it will not leave you empty. My voice may lead you away from what is familiar, but it will carry peace deeper than the fear of change. Samuel heard his name in the night. Notice that, my beloved child, I called him personally. I did not speak as a distant sound floating in the air. I called him by name. I still do this. I know how to reach you in the place where your heart can recognize that the message is for you, not for the crowd, not for someone else, for you. You may be in your own night season, quiet around you but questions inside you, life moving on outside but something within you awake and listening. A night season can feel lonely, but it can also become sacred. When the noise lowers, the soul begins to notice what it ignored in the day. Do not fear the quiet. Do not fill every silence too quickly. Samuel could hear because the night was still. If your heart is always filled with noise, you may keep running to the wrong place for answers. You may keep asking people to explain what I am trying to teach you directly. Wise counsel matters, but no human voice can replace my living voice in your spirit. My beloved child, this is not a call to isolate yourself. Eli helped Samuel understand what was happening. There are people I use to guide you with wisdom, but the goal is not that you become dependent on another person's hearing. The goal is that your own heart learns to answer me. A true spiritual guide will help you listen to me, not become a substitute for me. When I call, do not be afraid to answer simply. You do not need elegant words. You do not need to sound strong. You do not need to understand the whole message before you become willing. You can say, Father, I am listening. You can say, I do not know what this means, but I am here. You can say, teach me to recognize your voice. John chapter 10 verse 27 says, my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. Hearing and following belong together. You are not learning to hear only so you can feel comforted. You are learning to hear so you can walk. My voice will comfort you, but it will also call you forward. There are things I may ask you to notice. A pattern that keeps draining you. A habit that keeps dulling your spirit. A wound you keep covering with busyness. A conversation you need to have. A forgiveness you need to release. A door you need to stop forcing. A prayer you need to begin again. Listening becomes real when it touches the way you live. My beloved child, be careful not to confuse delay with silence. Sometimes I speak and then I give you time to receive it. Sometimes I whisper and then I let the words settle. Sometimes I repeat the same message in different forms until your heart becomes steady enough to respond. I do not speak because I am impatient. I speak because I love you. If you want to listen like Samuel, keep your heart humble. Pride says, I already know. Fear says, I do not want to know. Shame says, I am not worthy to hear. But humility says, speak, Lord, I am listening. Humility opens the inner door. Humility lets truth enter without turning it into self-hatred. Humility allows correction to become life instead of accusation. Listening also requires obedience in small things. If I show you one step, do not demand 5 more before taking it. If I ask you to pause, pause. If I ask you to return, return. If I ask you to let go, begin loosening your grip. The more you respond to the light you have, the more your heart becomes ready for the light that comes next. My beloved child, I have not been silent over your life. There were times you were too tired to recognize me, but I was still calling. There were times you ran to other sources first, but I was still patient. There were times you thought your confusion disqualified you, but I was only teaching you to listen more deeply. So tonight, or whenever these words reach you, let your heart become like Samuel's. Quiet, willing, teachable, not perfect, but open. Say to me from the deepest place you can reach, Father, speak. I am listening. Lead me out of the old noise and into the truth of your voice. I will meet your small yes with patient mercy, and I will strengthen it day by day. And when you begin to hear me, do not fear what I awaken. My voice does not come to punish the heart that turns toward me. It comes to bring life. That is where I will lead you next, my beloved child, because the awakening within you is not punishment. It is the beginning of return, healing, and true life. My beloved child, now that you are learning to listen like Samuel, I want you to understand what my awakening truly means. When I call your name in the quiet, when I stir your heart, when I make the old life feel heavy, I am not punishing you. I am calling you back to life. You may have thought that discomfort means I am angry. You may have believed that when your heart begins to tremble, it means judgment has arrived. You may have felt the old fear rise and whisper, God is disappointed in you. But listen to me gently. The awakening I bring is not condemnation. It is mercy moving before destruction can grow deeper. I do not awaken you to shame you. I awaken you because I love you too much to let you remain asleep in places that are stealing life from your soul. I do not disturb false peace because I enjoy your unrest. I disturb it because false peace can become a quiet prison. It can teach you to accept dimness as normal, distance as safety, and numbness as maturity. My beloved child, you were not created to live half awake. You were not created to move through days with a tired heart, praying with your lips while your inner life slowly grows cold. You were not created to keep repeating patterns that drain you simply because they have become familiar. I am not calling you out to expose you to shame. I am calling you out to restore your fire. Ephesians chapter 5 verse 14 says, "Awake, O sleeper, and rise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you." Notice the promise. The call to awaken is not followed by rejection. It is followed by light. When I say awake, I am not saying, "Look how far you have fallen." I am saying, "Rise, because my light is ready to meet you." There are rooms in your heart you have avoided for a long time. Rooms of disappointment, rooms of regret, rooms where old prayers were left unfinished, rooms where you stored pain because you did not know what else to do with it. My beloved child, I do not enter those rooms with harsh hands. I enter with light. I enter with patience. I enter to show you that nothing hidden is too broken for my mercy. Awakening can feel uncomfortable because light touches what darkness kept quiet. When light enters a closed room, dust becomes visible. The dust was already there. The light did not create it. The light revealed it so the room could be cleaned. In the same way, when I reveal something inside you, I am not creating shame. I am showing you what I want to heal. John chapter 3 verse 21 says that whoever does what is true comes to the light, so it may be clearly seen that their works have been carried out in God. My beloved child, do not run from the light. The light is not your enemy. The light is the place where hidden burdens lose their power. The light is where confusion becomes clear. The light is where you stop pretending and begin receiving life. You may ask, why does awakening hurt sometimes? It hurts because the soul has grown attached to things that no longer belong to it. It hurts because letting go touches places where fear has lived. It hurts because the heart may mistake familiar chains for safety. But pain in this process is not proof that I am harming you. It is proof that what has held you is being loosened. Think of Peter after he denied my son. The sound of the rooster did not come to destroy him. It awakened him to the truth of where his heart had broken. He wept bitterly. Yet those tears were not the end of his story. I restored him. I asked him, "Do you love me?" I gave him a new beginning. My beloved child, I can awaken truth without ending destiny. This is important for you. What I reveal, I am able to redeem. What I uncover, I am able to cleanse. What I correct, I am able to restore. Do not let the enemy convince you that awakening means your story is over. No, awakening means I am stepping into the place where the story needs my life. I know how long you have carried certain things silently. I know the habits that began as survival. I know the walls you built because you were tired of being hurt. I know the words you never said and the grief you buried because you had to keep moving. My beloved child, I am not mocking the ways you tried to survive. I am showing you that survival is not the fullness I promised. John chapter 10 verse 10 says that I came so that they may have life and have it abundantly. I am not satisfied with you merely existing. I am not satisfied with you breathing, but never feeling alive. I am not satisfied with you functioning outwardly, while inwardly feeling far from joy, prayer, and peace. I am calling you into life again. So when you feel the stirring, do not run back to old sleep. Do not cover the ache with noise. Do not harden your heart because the truth feels tender. Let me speak. Let me show you what needs to change. Let me touch what has become numb. Let me awaken what still belongs to the future I prepared for you. My beloved child, this awakening may begin with a simple honesty. Father, I am tired. Father, I have drifted. Father, I do not feel like myself anymore. Father, I need you to bring me back. Those words are not weakness. They are the doorway of return. I will meet you there. Not with a stone in my hand, but with mercy. Not with rejection, but with presence. Not with disgust, but with the love that knows how to cleanse without crushing. Do not measure my awakening by the fear you first feel. Measure it by the fruit it begins to form. More honesty, more hunger for truth, more willingness to pray, more desire to release what has been poisoning your peace. These are not signs of punishment. They are signs of life returning. A heart under condemnation hides from me, but a heart touched by mercy begins to turn toward me, even with trembling steps. I receive those trembling steps. I do not despise the small beginning. I see the direction of your heart, and I know how to lead it home with patience. Stay near, and let my mercy wake you gently. and as you allow me to awaken you, the tears may come. Do not fear them. Tears are often the first language of a heart that is becoming soft again. They are not proof that you are failing. They are signs that the places once frozen are beginning to feel my life. This is where I will lead you next, my beloved child, because your tears can become the language of healing in my hands. My beloved child, now that you understand the awakening is not punishment, I want you to stop fearing the tears that may rise as I touch your heart. Tears are not always a sign that you are breaking. Sometimes they are the first language of healing. Sometimes they are the way a tired soul finally exhales after holding pain too long. You have hidden many things behind strength. You have smiled when you wanted to be honest. You have kept moving when your inner life needed rest. You have told yourself that if you did not speak of the pain, then perhaps it would disappear. But my beloved child, buried pain is not the same as healed pain. What is hidden still needs my touch. When tears come, do not rush to wipe them away as if they embarrass me. I am not ashamed of your tenderness. I am not disappointed when your heart trembles before me. A heart that can still feel is a heart where life can still flow. A heart that can weep before me is not abandoned. It is opening. Matthew chapter 5 verse 4 says, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted." Notice the promise. Mourning is not ignored. It is met. The tears that fall before me do not fall into emptiness. They fall into the care of the one who knows the story behind every drop. My beloved child, some tears come from grief you never had time to face. Some come from words you swallowed because speaking felt unsafe. Some come from years of carrying responsibilities that were heavier than anyone knew. Some come from disappointment with yourself. Some come from longing for the life you thought you would have by now. Bring them all to me. Do not divide your tears into the ones you think are worthy and the ones you think are foolish. I know the depth beneath them. I know the memory connected to them. I know the moment when your heart first learned to hide. I know the wound you stopped naming because naming it made it feel too real. My beloved child, I was there even then. Psalm chapter 56 verse 8 says that I keep your tears. This means nothing has been wasted. Not the tears that fell quietly at night. Not the tears you held back in front of others. Not the tears that came while you were praying without words. Not the tears you could not explain. I have seen them, and I have held them with mercy. There are tears that cleanse. Like rain washing dust from a window, they allow your soul to see again. The dust did not arrive in one moment. It gathered slowly through disappointment, fatigue, fear, and silent endurance. So when the rain begins, do not call it destruction. It may be my mercy washing away what has covered your sight. There are tears that soften. They reach places your mind could not persuade. You have tried to reason your way out of pain, but some places do not open to logic. They open to love. They open when my presence settles gently enough for your heart to stop defending itself. My beloved child, I do not force the locked rooms open. I stand there with light until you are ready. Remember the woman who came to the feet of Jesus with costly perfume. She did not bring a perfect speech. She brought tears. Others looked at her through judgment, but I saw the truth of her heart. Her tears became worship, repentance, surrender, and love. What people misunderstood, heaven received. So it is with you. Others may not understand why you are moved. They may not know why a song, a verse, a memory, or a quiet moment causes tears to rise. They may think you are too sensitive. But my beloved child, I know when tenderness is the sign that my spirit is touching a place long closed. Do not let pride tell you to harden again. Do not let old survival teach you to mock your own tears. You once needed strength to get through certain seasons, and I honored that. But there comes a time when the armor that protected you begins to prevent healing. I am not asking you to become helpless. I am asking you to become honest. Tears can become a doorway when you bring them to me. They can lead you into confession. They can lead you into release. They can lead you into forgiveness without pretending the wound was small. They can lead you into surrender where you stop carrying the burden as if it belongs only to you. 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 7 says, "To cast all your cares on me because I care for you." My beloved child, I do not ask you to cast your cares because they are meaningless. I ask because they are too heavy for you to carry alone. Your tears are often the moment your hands begin to loosen. You may feel weaker after crying, but sometimes that weakness is only the body releasing the strain of pretending. You may feel exposed, but sometimes exposure before me is the beginning of freedom. You may feel unsure, but healing often begins before understanding arrives. Let me hold you in the place where words are not enough. I am not counting your tears against you. I am not saying, why are you still affected? I am not asking why you are not over it already. I know healing is not always a straight road. I know some wounds have roots. I know some memories return because they are ready to be touched deeper, not because you are moving backward. My beloved child, when tears rise, breathe with me. Do not panic. Do not run back to the old numbness. Say, Father, if you are touching this place, then stay with me here. Show me what needs healing. Wash what has been covered. Hold what still hurts. Teach my heart that tenderness is safe in your presence. I will meet you there. I will not shame you for what comes up. I will not leave you alone with what is exposed. I will sit with you in the place where your voice becomes small, and I will understand the prayer inside your silence. I am teaching you that softness is not weakness. It is the place where grace can enter, where truth can settle without violence, and where the love I give can finally be received without being pushed away by fear again. Your tears are not the end of your strength. They are the beginning of a deeper strength, one that no longer depends on hiding. They are not the collapse of your faith. They are the softening of soil where new faith can grow. And as the tears cleanse and soften, I will begin to show you what I am doing beneath them. I am not only comforting you for a moment, I am softening the old heart, removing what has become stone and preparing you to receive life in a way you have not known before. My beloved child, as your tears begin to soften what has been closed for so long, I want you to understand what I am doing beneath them. I am not only comforting you for a moment, I am not only helping you release a little pressure from your heart, I am softening the old heart so that new life can take root. There are places within you that became hard because they had to survive. You did not become guarded in one day. You learned it through disappointment, through promises that failed, through prayers that seemed delayed, through moments when you needed comfort and did not know where to find it. Little by little, tenderness hid behind protection. My beloved child, I do not condemn you for that protection. I know why it formed. I know the day your heart first decided it was safer not to expect too much. I know the season when you stopped speaking certain hopes because hope felt dangerous. I know the pain that taught you to keep your face calm while something inside you was quietly breaking. But what once protected you can later imprison you. A wall built in a storm may keep danger out for a night, but if it is never opened again, it also keeps light from entering. I am not tearing your heart open with violence. I am teaching it that it no longer has to live behind locked doors. Ezekiel chapter 36 verse 26 says, I will give you a new heart, and I will put a new spirit within you. I will remove the heart of stone and give you a heart of flesh. My beloved child, this is not a small repair. This is deep mercy. I am not painting over what is hardened. I am reaching into the root. A heart of stone can still function. It can still answer messages. It can still work. It can still smile. It can still say, I am fine. But it cannot receive deeply. It cannot trust freely. It cannot pray honestly. It cannot rest without suspicion. It cannot feel joy without preparing for loss. That is why I soften you. Not to make you fragile, but to make you alive. A soft heart is not a weak heart. A soft heart is a living heart. It can hear, it can respond, it can repent. It can forgive without pretending. It can love with wisdom. It can receive my voice without turning every word into fear. My beloved child, when I soften the heart, you may become more aware of what you used to ignore. You may feel grief over things you once dismissed. You may remember moments you tried to bury. You may sense conviction over patterns that used to feel normal. Do not panic. This does not mean you are going backward. It means feeling is returning. Think of soil after a long dry season. When the rain first comes, the ground may not receive it easily. It may be cracked tight and resistant. But as the rain continues, the soil opens. What was hard begins to loosen. What was barren becomes able to carry seed again. My beloved child, I am sending the rain of my mercy into the soil of your heart. Hosea chapter 10 verse 12 says, Break up your fallow ground, for it is time to seek the Lord. Fallow ground is not useless ground. It is ground that has been waiting unused, covered and quiet. I do not look at the hidden places in you and call them worthless. I call them ready to be touched. There are dreams I placed in you that could not grow in a hardened place. There is peace I want to give you that cannot settle where fear controls every corner. There is love I want you to receive that cannot enter fully while suspicion guards every gate. There is truth I want to speak that cannot take root while old pain keeps interrupting. So I begin gently. I soften by reminding you that you are loved. I soften by showing you that not every correction is rejection. I soften by letting tears wash away pride. I soften by bringing safe truth into hidden rooms. I soften by surrounding you with small signs of my patience until your soul begins to trust again. Remember Lydia by the river. She was listening, and I opened her heart to receive what was spoken. Acts chapter 16 verse 14 says that the Lord opened her heart. My beloved child, she did not force herself open. I did the opening. She listened, and grace moved within her. This is what I am doing with you. I am opening what fear has closed. Do not force yourself to become tender by your own strength. Forced tenderness becomes another performance. Bring me the hard places instead. Tell me where you cannot feel. Tell me where you have become numb. Tell me where love feels unsafe. Tell me where trust feels impossible. I can touch those places without shaming you. My beloved child, I am patient with the old heart while I make it new. I do not mock the slow opening. I do not despise the trembling yes. I do not reject you because some parts of you still resist. I know how to work with honest resistance. I know how to keep loving you until fear loses its grip, but do not mistake my gentleness for permission to remain unchanged. I am gentle because I love you, and I transform because I love you. A heart that refuses to soften cannot enter the fullness I prepared. It will keep choosing control over trust, numbness over healing, and familiar emptiness over living water. So let me soften you. Let me touch the old sorrow. Let me loosen the anger that has hidden underneath exhaustion. Let me show you where disappointment has shaped your expectations. Let me remove the stone without making you feel exposed and alone. I am not taking your strength. I am purifying it. Your new heart will not be careless. It will be discerning. It will not be easily manipulated. It will be rooted. It will not be cold. It will be wise. It will not be driven by fear. It will be guided by my peace. Do not fear if this work feels quiet. The deepest roots are not seen while they are changing. A tree does not announce every movement beneath the ground, yet life is being strengthened there. In the same way, I am working beneath your words, beneath your reactions, beneath the places others cannot measure. Trust the hidden work. Trust the gentle pressure of my hand. Trust the life I am awakening now. My beloved child, this softening is preparation. It is the sacred work before the new life appears. Before seed grows, soil must open. Before light fills a room, the shutters must move. Before a heart can carry the new, the old hardness must yield. And this is where I will lead you next, because cleansing comes before new life, and what I cleanse I also prepare to fill. My beloved child, as I soften the old heart, I am preparing it for something deeper than comfort. I am preparing it for cleansing. New life does not grow well in a place still crowded with what belongs to yesterday. A heart can be tender and still need to be washed. A soul can be willing and still need to release what has settled inside it over time. Do not be afraid when I begin to cleanse you. Cleansing may feel like loss at first, because it touches things you have carried for a long time. Some burdens have become familiar. Some habits have become part of your routine. Some fears have lived so close to you that they almost sound like wisdom. But my beloved child, familiarity is not the same as truth. I do not cleanse you because I reject you. I cleanse you because I am making room for life. A cup that has been filled with bitter water cannot receive sweet water until it is poured out. A room filled with dust cannot welcome fresh light without first being opened. A garden crowded with dead roots cannot bear healthy fruit until the soil is cleared. Ezekiel chapter 36 verse 25 says, I will sprinkle clean water on you, and you shall be clean. My beloved child, notice who does the cleansing. I do. I do not ask you to wash yourself perfectly before coming to me. I call you close so that my mercy can wash what your effort could never reach. There are things in you that have not been removed by time. Time can pass and yet a wound can remain. Years can move forward and yet an old fear can still whisper from the background. You may have learned how to function while carrying it, but functioning is not freedom. I want more for you, than the ability to keep going while still being weighed down. Cleansing begins when you stop defending what is making you tired. It begins when you let me show you the hidden motives, the old reactions, the quiet resentments, the secret fears, the compromises that slowly dulled your spirit. I reveal these things not to shame you, but to remove what has been stealing your peace. My beloved child, think of a river after a heavy storm. Mud rises first. The water may look worse before it becomes clear, but the stirring does not mean the river is ruined. It means what was settled at the bottom is being moved, so the current can carry it away. This is often how cleansing feels. What comes up is not coming up to stay, it is coming up to leave. Do not panic when old emotions rise. Do not say, I thought I was healed, so why do I still feel this? Sometimes the final layers appear when you are finally safe enough to face them. Sometimes the deepest cleansing happens after the heart has softened enough to let truth enter. Psalm chapter 51 verse 10 says, Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. That is the prayer I am teaching you, not a prayer of performance, not a prayer that says I will make myself acceptable, but a prayer that says, Father, create in me what I cannot create in myself. Renew what I cannot repair by my own strength. Remember Naaman the commander who wanted healing but almost rejected the simple path I gave him. He expected something dramatic, something impressive, something that matched his status. But healing came when he humbled himself and stepped into the water. 2 Kings chapter 5 tells how he dipped in the Jordan and his flesh was restored. My beloved child, pride often wants healing without humility. Fear wants freedom without exposure. Control wants new life without surrender. But cleansing requires trust. It asks you to step down from self-protection and let my way be enough, even when it feels too simple, too quiet, or too different from what you expected. There may be things I ask you to lay down, not because they never mattered, but because they can no longer carry you forward. There may be patterns I ask you to stop calling normal. There may be relationships, thoughts, habits, or desires I ask you to see honestly. Do not cling to what I am washing away simply because it has been with you for a long time. My beloved child, what leaves under my cleansing hand is not your life. It is what has been covering your life. What falls away is not your worth. It is what has been hiding your worth. What I remove is not meant to leave you empty. It is meant to make space for what is pure, steady, and alive. You may feel exposed in this process, but I am not exposing you to humiliate you. I am uncovering you so the air of grace can reach places that have been sealed too long. Hidden wounds can become infected when they are never opened to care. Hidden sins can become chains when they are never brought into light. Hidden grief can become heaviness when it is never allowed to speak before me. 1 John chapter 1 verse 9 says that if we confess our sins, I am faithful and just to forgive and cleanse from all unrighteousness. My beloved child, confession is not you convincing me to love you again. Confession is you opening the door to the cleansing love that has already been reaching for you. Let me wash your thoughts. Let me wash your memories. Let me wash the places where shame has written its name. Let me wash the expectations formed by pain. Let me wash the bitterness that entered when you were tired of being hurt. Let me wash the fear that told you never to trust again. This cleansing is not the end of you. It is the beginning of the person I have been calling forward. When the old weight is washed away, your hearing becomes clearer. Your prayers become more honest. Your peace becomes less fragile. Your love becomes less driven by need. Your steps become lighter because you are no longer dragging what I asked you to release. My beloved child, remain in the water of my mercy. Do not step out too quickly because the process feels uncomfortable. Do not run back to the dust because cleansing feels unfamiliar. Stay with me. Let the work go deeper than emotion. Let it reach the root, for after cleansing, new life begins to breathe. After the room is cleared, light can fill it. After the soil is washed, seed can grow. After the heart is cleansed, it can carry what I am preparing next. And that is where I will lead you. Because what I remove, I rebuild. What I cleanse, I fill. What I empty of yesterday, I prepare for tomorrow. Do not fear the empty space after release. It is holy space. It is where my presence settles, where your new obedience begins, and where the first breath of new life rises. My beloved child, do not fear the empty space that follows cleansing. When I wash something away, the silence left behind can feel strange. You may wonder what is happening, why old supports no longer hold, why familiar patterns no longer satisfy, why certain doors no longer open as before. But listen, I am not leaving you empty. I am preparing to rebuild. There are seasons when I must tear down what can no longer carry the weight of what I am sending. I do not do this because I delight in loss. I do it because love refuses to let you live inside a structure that looks safe while cracking beneath you. A damaged foundation may still hold a house for a little while, but when the storm comes, hidden weakness becomes danger. My beloved child, I know you often ask me to bless what already exists. You ask me to place peace over old patterns, strength over old fears, and favor over choices that are not rooted in truth. But there are times when my answer is not decoration, it is reconstruction. I do not simply hang new curtains in a broken room. I go to the foundation. Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 10 speaks of uprooting and tearing down, but also of building and planting. Do you see the order? Removal is not the whole story. Tearing down is not the destination. It is part of the preparation for what I intend to build with strength, purity, and life. When I begin this work, you may feel as though too much is changing at once. A belief you leaned on begins to lose its power. A relationship you thought defined you begins to loosen. A desire that once drove you begins to fade. A way of protecting yourself no longer feels right. Do not panic. These movements are not random. I am separating what belongs to your future from what belongs to your past. My beloved child, not everything old is evil, but not everything old is meant to remain. Some things were temporary scaffolding. They helped you stand for a season, but they were never meant to become your permanent home. Some patterns were survival tools, but I am calling you into life, not merely survival. What helped you endure yesterday may not be holy enough to guide tomorrow. Think of Nehemiah when he saw the broken walls of Jerusalem. He did not pretend the ruins were fine. He did not decorate the stones and call the city restored. He looked carefully. He grieved honestly. Then he began to rebuild with purpose. My beloved child, I am teaching you that honest inspection is not unbelief. It is wisdom. You cannot rebuild well while denying what is broken. Nehemiah chapter 2 says he inspected the walls by night before the rebuilding began. There is a lesson here. Some of the deepest rebuilding begins in hidden places before anyone else sees progress. Others may only see quietness in you. They may think nothing is happening. But I am walking through the inner ruins with you, showing you where strength must return. I am not ashamed of the broken places. I am not shocked by the cracks. I am not turning away because the work looks deep. I am the master builder. I know how to restore what human hands could not repair. I know how to rebuild dignity where shame once sat. I know how to rebuild prayer where weariness made you silent. I know how to rebuild trust where betrayal taught you fear. My beloved child, there are false beams inside the soul that must come down. The beam that says you are only loved when you perform. The beam that says you must carry everyone else to be worthy. The beam that says your past has the final word. The beam that says rest is laziness. The beam that says silence from people means absence from me. These cannot remain in the house I am building. So when I remove them, do not call it cruelty, call it mercy. When I expose the weakness of a belief, do not defend it simply because you have held it for years. Let truth enter. Let me replace the fragile beam with something that can carry peace. Matthew chapter 7 speaks of the wise man who built his house on the rock. The storm came, the rain fell, and the winds blew, but the house stood because its foundation was firm. My beloved child, I am making you that kind of house. Not a life that never meets storms, but a life that does not collapse when storms arrive. This rebuilding may require surrender. It may require letting go of your need to understand every removal before trusting my hand. It may require patience while I work beneath the visible surface. It may require you to stop reaching back for what I already pulled from the foundation. I know that is not always easy, but I am with you in every hidden layer. Do not compare your rebuilding to someone else's finished wall. Do not look at another person's season and accuse your own life of being late. I work with each heart according to what I know is needed. Some roots are shallow and come out quickly. Some roots have wrapped themselves around years of pain. I remove them with care. My beloved child, I tear down lies to build truth. I tear down shame to build identity. I tear down fear to build trust. I tear down false peace to build holy peace. I tear down the need to prove yourself so I can build rest. I tear down the old room of hiding so I can build a place of communion. What I build will not require you to betray your soul to keep it standing. What I build will not depend on applause, pressure, or fear. What I build will carry the fragrance of my presence. It will be steady when people misunderstand you. It will be strong when old memories try to speak. It will be humble enough to receive correction and rooted enough not to be shaken by every wind. Isaiah chapter 61 speaks of rebuilding the ancient ruins and repairing what had been devastated. My beloved child, I am able to rebuild even what seems too old to restore. No ruin is beyond my wisdom. No collapse is too deep for my mercy. No wasted season is wasted when placed in my hands. So let me rebuild you. Let me clear the foundation. Let me remove what cannot carry the promise. Let me teach you to stand on truth instead of fear. Let me make your inner life strong enough to hold the new thing I am preparing. And as I rebuild, I will also reveal. I will show you what was hidden, not to shame you, but to heal you. What comes into the light under my hand is not meant to destroy your hope. It is meant to free it. That is where I will lead you next, my beloved child, because what is revealed is meant to be healed. My beloved child, as I rebuild what was broken within you, I will also reveal what has been hidden. Do not be afraid of this. When my light touches a covered place, it is not because I desire to shame you. It is because I desire to heal you there. Many times you have thought that hidden things are safer. Hidden fear, hidden grief, hidden anger, hidden disappointment, hidden questions you were afraid to ask. You learned to place them behind quiet doors and keep living as if they were not there. But my beloved child, what is hidden does not always disappear. Sometimes it continues speaking from the dark. A wound covered too long may still shape the way you walk. A memory never brought into. My light may still influence the way you trust. A fear you refuse to name may still decide how far you let love come near. That is why I reveal, not to accuse you, but to free you from what has been silently guiding you. Ephesians chapter 5 verse 13 says that everything exposed by the light becomes visible. My beloved child, light does not create the wound. Light shows where healing is needed. Light does not make the dust. Light reveals it so the room can be cleaned. Light does not come as your enemy. It comes as my faithful mercy. You may feel exposed when truth rises. You may feel nervous when old motives become clear. You may feel sorrow when you realize how long you have carried something that was never meant to live inside you. But do not run. I am with you in that moment. The same light that reveals also warms. The same truth that uncovers also guides. The same mercy that shows the wound also brings the oil. My beloved child, I know the difference between exposure and humiliation. The enemy exposes to destroy. I reveal to restore. The enemy points at your wound and says, "This is who you are." I touch the wound and say, "This is where I will make you whole." The enemy uses truth without mercy. I bring truth wrapped in love. Remember Hagar in the wilderness. She was alone, wounded, unseen by human eyes, carrying pain that others did not fully understand. Yet I met her there. She called me the God who sees me. Genesis chapter 16 verse 13 carries that sacred truth. I saw her not to shame her, but to comfort, direct, and preserve her life. So it is with you. When I see you, I do not look with cold distance. I see the road that formed your defenses. I see the pain behind your reactions. I see the longing behind your silence. I see the childlike hope you buried because disappointment felt too heavy. My beloved child, my seeing is not judgment without tenderness. My seeing is love with perfect understanding. There are things you have judged in yourself because you did not understand their roots. You called yourself impatient, but underneath was fear. You called yourself distant, but underneath was disappointment. You called yourself weak, but underneath was exhaustion. You called yourself difficult, but underneath was a voice that had been ignored too long. I reveal roots, so you will stop fighting only the branches. Do not be surprised if healing first feels like remembering. I may bring back a moment not for you to relive it as a prisoner, but to see it with me standing beside you. I may show you where a lie first entered. I may show you where shame attached itself to your name. I may show you where you learned to expect rejection, This is not punishment. This is rescue. John chapter 8 verse 32 says, "You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." Truth does not set you free when it is denied. Truth sets you free when it is brought into my presence and met by grace. My beloved child, I am not asking you to stare at pain alone. I am asking you to let me hold the truth with you. You do not need to protect me from your honesty. You do not need to make your prayers sound cleaner than your heart feels. Tell me where it hurts. Tell me where you are angry. Tell me where you feel confused. Tell me what you do not understand. I am not fragile. Your honesty will not drive me away. Sometimes the most holy prayer is not long. It may be, "Father, this still hurts." It may be, "I do not know why I reacted that way." It may be, "I am tired of hiding." It may be, "Show me what I have not wanted to see." My beloved child, I receive prayers spoken from the truth. There are also things I reveal in order to break false agreements. You may have agreed with words spoken over you. You may have agreed with failure as if it were your identity. You may have agreed with fear as if it were wisdom. You may have agreed with loneliness as if it were your future. I bring these agreements into the light so they can lose their authority. When I reveal, do not rush to defend the old story. Let me question what you have accepted. Let me show you where pain has been acting like a teacher. Let me show you where fear has been acting like protection. Let me show you where shame has been acting like humility. My beloved child, not every voice inside you deserves obedience. Hebrews chapter 4 verse 13 says that all things are open before my eyes. Yet this should not terrify the heart that turns toward me. It means there is no hidden place I cannot heal, no secret ache I cannot reach, no buried grief I cannot find, no distorted belief I cannot replace with truth. I am gentle with what is tender. I am firm with what is false. I will not break the bruised reed, but I will remove the chain wrapped around it. I will not shame the wounded heart, but I will confront the lie that has been ruling it. I love you too much to leave darkness unnamed. My beloved child, let my light continue its work. Do not close the door because the first truth feels painful. Stay with me. Breathe. Let the revelation become healing. Let the exposed place become cleansed. Let the hidden room become a place of peace. If you tremble, I will steady you. If you weep, I will understand you. If you feel small, I will cover you with mercy. You are not being dragged into exposure. You are being led into freedom with my hand near your heart at every step. What I reveal, I intend to redeem. What I uncover, I intend to restore. What I bring into the light, I intend to free from fear. And as this healing continues, I will teach you not to condemn yourself in the process. For the next step is this, my beloved child. There is no condemnation in the healing I bring. My beloved child, as I bring hidden things into the light, I want you to hear this. I am not inviting you into healing so you can condemn yourself along the way. I am not opening old rooms so you can stand inside them and punish your heart. I reveal to restore, and I restore without calling you by what wounded you. There is a voice that rises when truth becomes visible. It says, look what you have done, look how long you stayed there, look how broken you are, look how many times you should have known better. My beloved child, that voice may sound spiritual, but it is not my voice. My voice may bring conviction, but it will never crush you into despair. Romans chapter 8 verse 1 says, there is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. Notice the word now, not after you feel perfect, not after every memory becomes easy, not after you finally prove you have changed enough. Now, in the middle of the healing, in the middle of the tears, in the middle of the truth being revealed, there is no condemnation in me. Conviction and condemnation do not carry the same fruit. Conviction says, come closer, there is life here. Condemnation says, hide, you are beyond mercy. Conviction leads you to confession. Condemnation leads you to self-hatred. Conviction opens the door to change. Condemnation chains you to the past and tells you it is your name. My beloved child, I do not name you by your wound. I do not name you by your mistake. I do not name you by the season when you were confused, tired, afraid, or far from wisdom. I know the whole story. I know what you carried before you made the choices you regret. Think of the prodigal son. He returned with a speech prepared. He knew he had wasted what was given. He knew he had wandered far. But before he could rebuild his identity around shame, the father ran toward him. The father embraced him. The father placed a robe on him, a ring on his hand, and sandals on his feet. My beloved child, the father did not deny the son's return was needed, but he refused to let shame become the son's home. Luke chapter 15 shows this mercy. The son came back, expecting only a servant's place, but the father restored him as a son. This is how my heart moves toward the one who turns back. I do not meet repentance with cold distance. I meet it with mercy that restores order, dignity, and belonging. You may say, but Father, I still feel guilty. I still remember. I still see the consequences of choices I made. My beloved child, guilt can point you toward what needs to be made right, but it was never meant to become the house you live in. Healthy sorrow turns you toward me. Condemnation turns you against yourself. 2 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 10 says, godly sorrow brings repentance that leads to life, but worldly sorrow brings death. Do you see the difference? Sorrow held in my presence becomes a doorway. Sorrow held under accusation becomes a grave. I am teaching you to bring even your regret into my light, so it can be transformed into wisdom instead of poison. There are some things you need to confess. Confess them without performing. There are some places where you need to make peace. Make peace without pretending nothing happened. There are some patterns you need to leave. Leave them without turning your whole identity into the pattern. Healing requires honesty, but honesty does not require self-destruction. My beloved child, you must also stop rehearsing the accusations that I have already answered with grace. Some of you keep returning to the same inner courtroom. You become the witness, the judge, and the prisoner. You repeat the evidence against yourself and call it humility. But humility is not agreeing with every accusation. Humility is agreeing with my truth, even when my truth says you are forgiven, loved, and being made new. When I forgive, I do not keep your past as a weapon for later. Psalm chapter 103 verse 12 says that as far as the east is from the west, so far have I removed transgressions. My beloved child, do not run after what I have removed. Do not dig up what I am burying under mercy. Let repentance do its holy work. Then let grace teach you how to stand. This does not mean you ignore consequences. It means consequences are not condemnation. I may teach you through what happened. I may strengthen wisdom where foolishness once ruled. I may ask you to repair what can be repaired. But I will not use the process to strip away your worth. Discipline from me is never hatred. It is love setting your feet back on the path. Remember Peter after he denied Jesus. He wept bitterly, but his tears were not the final word. Later by the shore, Jesus asked him, "Do you love me?" He was not crushed publicly to satisfy shame. He was restored personally and called again to feed my sheep. My beloved child, failure did not erase his calling when his heart returned. So do not believe that your healing process has disqualified you. Do not believe that the things being uncovered mean, I am finished with you. Many times what you think is disqualification is actually preparation. When pride breaks, humility grows. When denial ends, truth begins. When hiding stops, communion deepens. When shame loses power, love can finally enter. I know you may still tremble when you come near. Come anyway. I know you may still struggle to receive kindness. Receive it. I know you may still expect me to speak harshly because human voices once did. Let me teach you again. My voice is holy, and my holiness does not need cruelty to be strong. My beloved child, healing will require courage. It takes courage to face what is true without letting accusation define you. It takes courage to grieve without sinking into despair. It takes courage to admit you need mercy and still believe mercy is available. But I am giving you that courage now. Let this become your prayer. Father, show me the truth without letting me drown in shame. Correct me without letting me hide. Heal me without letting me return to numbness. Teach me to repent with hope, not with self-hatred. Teach me to receive grace as deeply as I receive correction. I will answer that prayer. I will guide you through the uncovered places. I will wash what needs cleansing. I will strengthen what needs rebuilding. I will silence the false judge within you and raise up the voice of truth. And as condemnation loses its grip, you will begin to understand my justice more clearly. My justice is not me crushing you beneath your past. My justice restores what sin, fear, shame, and disorder tried to distort. This is where I will lead you next, my beloved child, because my justice comes to restore order. My beloved child, Now that condemnation is losing its grip on your heart, I want you to understand my justice in a new way. My justice is not the cold hand of punishment pressing you down. My justice is my holy love, setting what is disordered back into its rightful place. You have seen justice through the wounds of the world. You have seen people use truth as a weapon. You have seen correction used to shame. You have seen authority used to control. So when you hear the word justice, something in you may tighten. You may think it means exposure, rejection, payment, or fear. But my beloved child, my justice is pure. It does not come to erase your worth. It comes to remove what has covered your worth. It does not come to crush the wounded heart. It comes to lift the burden that bent it. It does not come to keep you chained to what went wrong. It comes to break the chain and teach you how to stand upright again. Psalm chapter 89 verse 14 says that righteousness and justice are the foundation of my throne, and steadfast love and faithfulness go before me. Notice this: my justice does not travel alone. It moves with steadfast love. It moves with faithfulness. It moves with covenant mercy. When I set things right, I do not abandon the heart I am restoring. There are places inside you where disorder has been living too long. Fear sitting where faith should sit. Shame sitting where identity should sit. Resentment sitting where forgiveness should breathe. Confusion sitting where peace should rule. Exhaustion sitting where rest should be. My justice enters those places and says, "This is not the order of my kingdom." My beloved child, I am not angry at your weakness. I am against what has been using your weakness to keep you bound. I am not against your tender heart. I am against the lies that taught your tender heart to hide. I am not against your desire to love. I am against the distortion that made love feel like losing yourself. This is why justice may first feel like separation. I separate truth from lies. I separate guilt from shame. I separate responsibility from false burden. I separate love from control. I separate mercy from enabling harm. I separate your name from the names pain tried to give you. Hebrews chapter 4 verse 12 says that my word is living and active, sharper than any two-edged sword, discerning the thoughts and intentions of the heart. My beloved child, that sword is not swinging wildly. It is a surgeon's blade in the hand of perfect love. It cuts to heal. It divides what must not remain joined. It opens what must be cleansed. Think of Solomon when two women came before him with one living child and one dead child. The true mother was revealed not by noise but by love that wanted life preserved. Wisdom exposed what was false and protected what was living. My beloved child, that is what my justice does. It uncovers what is false so life can be protected. There are things in you that are living, and there are things that only attach themselves to life. Your calling is living. Your tenderness is living. Your desire for truth is living. Your hunger for me is living. But fear attaches itself. Shame attaches itself. Old vows attach themselves. The need to prove yourself attaches itself. My justice separates the living from what is feeding on it. You may feel unsettled when this happens. You may ask why certain relationships, habits, thoughts, or inner agreements cannot remain as they were. My beloved child, because disorder always asks for permission to stay. It dresses itself as comfort. It calls itself normal. It says, "This is just who you are." But I speak over you with greater authority. No, this is not who you are. This is what you learned in pain, and I am setting you free. 1 Corinthians chapter 14 verse 33 says that I am not the author of confusion, but of peace. When my justice restores order, confusion begins to lose its throne. You may not understand everything immediately, but the fog begins to lift. You begin to see what belongs to me and what has been ruling from fear. You begin to notice what strengthens your spirit and what drains it. My beloved child, justice also restores boundaries. It teaches each thing to stand in its proper place. Your past becomes testimony, not identity. Your emotions become signals, not masters. Your compassion becomes holy, not self-abandoning. Your memories become lessons, not prisons. Your relationships become places of truth, not places where your soul disappears to keep false peace. This restoration may require courage. It may require you to stop agreeing with the old disorder. It may require you to say, "This fear will not lead me anymore. This shame will not name me anymore. This wound will not decide my future anymore." This pattern will not continue simply because it has continued before. Do not confuse this courage with harshness. I am not teaching you to become cold. I am teaching you to become ordered in love. A river without banks becomes a flood, but a river with banks carries life to the places appointed for it. In the same way, a heart without holy order becomes exhausted. A heart restored by my justice can love with strength and remain at peace. Micah chapter 6 verse 8 says, "To do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with me." Do you see the balance? Justice, mercy, and humility. Not justice without mercy, not mercy without truth, not humility that allows disorder to rule. I am forming this balance in you so your life can reflect my heart more clearly. Order will not make your heart smaller. It will make your heart safe enough to stay open. It will teach you when to speak, when to wait, when to release, and when to rest, so your life no longer moves by fear, but by my steady peace in every new season. My beloved child, let me restore the order within you. Let me put truth back in the center. Let me place peace as a guard over your decisions. Let me teach your heart the difference between conviction and accusation, love and control, patience and passivity, humility and self-rejection. I will not leave you divided inside. I will not allow what is false to keep speaking louder than my truth. I will keep working until the rooms of your soul begin to reflect the light of my presence. I will reorder what fear scattered. I will steady what shame shook. I will raise what sorrow bent. And as my justice restores order, you will begin to see that love and truth have never been enemies in my hands. They are two movements of one holy heart. Love keeps truth from becoming cruel. Truth keeps love from becoming blind. This is where I will lead you next, my beloved child, because love and truth are meant to walk together. My beloved child, now that you are beginning to see how my justice restores order, I want you to understand the harmony of love and truth. In my hands, love and truth do not fight each other. They walk together. They breathe together. They guard each other from becoming distorted. Love without truth becomes a soft covering over wounds that still need healing. It smiles while disorder continues. It stays silent when the soul is being harmed. It calls avoidance peace. It calls fear patience. It calls self-abandonment kindness. My beloved child, that is not the love I teach. Truth without love becomes harsh and cold. It may speak what is accurate, but it does not carry my heart. It exposes without covering. It corrects without tenderness. It wins arguments while losing the person. That is not my truth either. My truth is holy, but it is never cruel. My love is gentle, but it is never blind. Ephesians chapter 4 verse 15 speaks of speaking the truth in love. Notice, not truth without love and not love without truth. Both are needed. Truth gives love a spine. Love gives truth a heart. When these two walk together, healing can happen without shame. Correction can happen without rejection, and freedom can grow without confusion. My beloved child, you have often lived between extremes. Sometimes you kept silent to avoid hurting someone even while your own heart was hurting. Other times, when pain became too heavy, words came out with sharp edges because they had been buried too long. I do not condemn you for learning slowly. I am teaching you a better way. A heart healed by me does not need to choose between tenderness and honesty. You can be kind and still be clear. You can forgive and still name what was wrong. You can love someone and still refuse to let darkness continue unchecked. You can speak with grace and still refuse to agree with a lie. John chapter 1 verse 14 says that the Word became flesh, full of grace and truth. My beloved child, look at that fullness. Not half grace and half truth, as if one must weaken the other. Full grace, full truth. In my Son, mercy did not cancel holiness, and holiness did not cancel mercy. They met perfectly. Remember the rich young ruler who came asking about eternal life. Jesus looked at him and loved him. Then he told him the truth about what held his heart. He did not flatter him to keep him comfortable. He did not insult him to prove authority. He loved him enough to speak directly. My beloved child, that is the sound of holy truth. It is not eager to wound, but it refuses to leave bondage unnamed. There will be moments when I ask you to speak truth in love. Perhaps you must admit that something has hurt you. Perhaps you must confess where you were wrong. Perhaps you must stop pretending a pattern is healthy. Perhaps you must tell yourself the truth first before you can speak it to anyone else. Do not fear those moments. I will teach you how to speak without bitterness. Before words leave your mouth, bring them to me. Ask, Father, is this truth? Ask, Father, is this love? Ask, Father, am I trying to heal or am I trying to punish? Ask, Father, am I speaking from courage or from the need to control? My Spirit will help you discern the difference. My beloved child, love and truth together also protect you from false guilt. False guilt says if you really loved them, you would never speak. If you really forgave, you would never set a boundary. If you were truly spiritual, you would keep enduring without question. But my truth answers, love does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 6 says this clearly. Love rejoices with the truth. Love does not cover darkness so it can keep operating. Love brings what is distorted into the light so life can return. Love does not give sin a comfortable chair in the house of the heart. Love opens the window and lets my light enter. But remember, my beloved child, truth must stay clothed in love. Do not use truth as a stone. Do not speak from the desire to make someone bleed as you bled. Do not confuse honesty with releasing every unhealed emotion onto another soul. Come to me first. Let me wash the anger. Let me steady the voice. Let me place mercy on the tongue before the sentence is spoken. Proverbs chapter 15, verse 1 says, a gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. Gentleness does not mean weakness. It means strength under my direction. It means your words no longer have to be driven by the wound. They can be guided by wisdom. There are also moments when truth is not spoken loudly but lived steadily. You may live truth by no longer returning to what harms you. You may live truth by changing how you respond. You may live truth by refusing to pretend. You may live truth by staying peaceful when others expect the old version of you. My beloved child, this is where love and truth become a path beneath your feet. They shape your decisions. They guide your relationships. They teach you what to accept, what to release, what to repair, and what to leave in my hands. They keep your heart soft without making your life disorderly. Do not be afraid of this balance. It will feel unfamiliar if you have lived too long in silence, fear, or reaction. But I will walk with you. I will teach you when to pause. I will teach you when to speak. I will teach you when love means patience and when love means honest correction. I will teach you when truth should be a whisper and when truth must become a firm step. Psalm chapter 85 verse 10 says that mercy and truth have met together. Righteousness and peace have kissed. My beloved child, this is the place where I am leading you. A life where mercy does not deny truth. A life where righteousness does not destroy peace. A life where your heart can remain open because it is no longer unguarded. Let this become your prayer. Father, make my love truthful and make my truth loving. Remove the fear that keeps me silent. Remove the anger that makes me harsh. Teach me to carry your heart in my words, your wisdom in my boundaries, and your peace in my decisions. And I will keep forming this holy balance patiently within you day by day until it becomes your natural way. As love and truth begin to walk together in you, striving will begin to lose its hold. You will no longer try to force holy living by pressure. You will learn to remain in me, to move from union, not fear. This is where I will lead you next, my beloved child, because you are called to move in me, not merely for me. My beloved child, as love and truth begin to walk together in you, I want to lead you into a deeper rest. You are not called to live by pressure. You are not called to prove your devotion by exhausting your soul. You are not called to move only for me, as if I were far away watching your effort from a distance. You are called to move in me. There is a holy difference between doing things for me and living from union with me. When you move only for me, you may begin to carry a burden I never placed on your shoulders. You may think you must keep everything together, fix every person open, every door, make every outcome happen, and prove that you are faithful enough to deserve my blessing. But when you move in me, the root is different. You no longer act from fear of rejection. You act from belonging. You no longer serve to become loved. You serve because you are loved. You no longer obey to earn my nearness. You obey because my nearness is already forming your heart. John chapter 15 verse 5 says, I am the vine, you are the branches. Whoever abides in me bears much fruit, for apart from me, you can do nothing. My beloved child, fruit is not forced by the branch. A branch does not strain in anxiety, begging itself to produce life. It remains connected. Life flows and fruit comes in its season. This is what I am teaching you. Remain, abide, stay close. Let your decisions rise from communion, not panic. Let your words come from my peace, not from the need to control. Let your work be carried by my strength, not by the secret fear that if you stop striving, everything will fall apart. You have known seasons of striving. You have prayed with tension in your chest. You have served while feeling unseen. You have tried to be strong for everyone while your own heart was whispering for rest. You have confused constant motion with faithfulness. My beloved child, I saw it all. I saw the love beneath it, but I also saw the weariness it created. I am not asking you to become passive. Rest in me is not laziness. Abiding is not doing nothing. It is doing what I lead you to do without being ruled by anxiety. It is walking when I say walk, waiting when I say wait, speaking when I give the word, and becoming still when your flesh wants to rush ahead. Remember Mary and Martha. Martha was busy with much serving, and her care was not meaningless. But she became troubled and anxious about many things. Mary sat at the feet of Jesus and listened. I did not shame service. I revealed the better portion. Luke chapter 10 shows that nearness must come before activity. My beloved child, work that loses. My presence becomes heavy, even when it looks holy from the outside. You may ask, how do I move in you? Before you run into a door, ask whether I opened it. Before you speak in urgency, ask whether peace is guiding your tongue. My spirit does not drive you like a taskmaster. My spirit leads you like a shepherd. Romans chapter 8 verse 14 says that those who are led by the Spirit of God are children of God. My beloved child, to be led is to admit that you do not have to be the source. You are not the fountain. You are the vessel. You are not the shepherd. You are the sheep who learns my voice. There is freedom in this. You can release the pressure to be everywhere. You can release the pressure to understand every detail. You can release the pressure to carry what belongs to me. You can stop calling anxiety obedience. You can stop calling burnout sacrifice. You can stop calling control responsibility. When you move in me, even small steps carry weight. A quiet prayer can shift your heart. A gentle no can protect your peace. A delayed answer can preserve wisdom. A simple act of obedience can place you in the right path. You do not need to make your life loud to make it meaningful. My beloved child, I am more interested in union than appearance. Others may praise activity, but I look at the root. Are you abiding? Are you listening? Are you moving with my peace? Are you receiving my love while you serve? Are you allowing me to carry what you were never meant to carry alone? Isaiah chapter 40 verse 31 says that those who wait upon me shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. Notice strength is renewed in waiting, not in frantic proving. There is a strength that comes only when the soul stops fighting my timing and begins resting in my presence. Do not be afraid of slowing down when I call you to slow down. Sometimes slowing down is obedience. Sometimes stillness is preparation. Sometimes the pause protects you from a path that looks useful but is not appointed. A hurried heart can miss a gentle instruction. A striving spirit can mistake pressure for purpose. I want your life to flow from me. I want your prayers to become honest again. I want your obedience to feel rooted, not frantic. I want your love to become steady, not desperate. I want your steps to carry the calm confidence of one who knows they are not walking alone. My beloved child, when you move in me, you will still face difficulty. But difficulty will not define the rhythm of your soul. You may be opposed, but you will not be abandoned. You may be stretched, but you will not be severed from the vine. You may be called into action, but you will not be asked to manufacture life without my life flowing through you. Let this become your prayer. Father, teach me to abide before I act. Teach me to listen before I move. Teach me to serve from love, not from fear. Teach me to lay down the burden of proving myself. Teach me to walk in your spirit and rest in your presence. I will answer that prayer. I will show you the difference between holy movement and restless striving. I will teach your heart to recognize when peace is leading and when pressure is pretending to be me. I will bring you back to the vine again and again until abiding becomes your home. The more you remain, the more your steps become steady, because my presence begins to shape your desire before your hands touch the outcome today. And from that, abiding obedience will become clearer. You will not obey as one trying to earn my love. You will obey as one already held by it. This is where I will lead you next, my beloved child, because obedience brings divine alignment. My beloved child, as you learn to move in me and not merely for me, obedience begins to take its rightful place. Obedience is not a heavy chain placed around your soul. It is not a cold demand meant to prove whether you are worthy of my love. Obedience is alignment. It is the quiet turning of your heart toward the path I have already prepared. When you obey, you step into the rhythm of what I am doing. You stop fighting the current of my wisdom. You stop wasting strength trying to open doors I have not opened. You stop delaying before doors I have already prepared. My beloved child, obedience is not only about action. Sometimes obedience is waiting. Sometimes obedience is releasing. Sometimes obedience is speaking. Sometimes obedience is becoming still. You have often wanted the full map before taking the first step. You have asked me to explain every turn, every delay, every closed door, every uncomfortable instruction. But faith does not always receive the whole map. Faith receives the next light and walks with me there. Psalm chapter 119, verse 105 says that, "My word is a lamp to your feet and a light to your path." Notice, my beloved child, a lamp to your feet. Not always a floodlight over the entire road. I give enough light for the step that is yours today. When you obey that step, more light will meet you. There are moments when your obedience may look small. A quiet apology, a hidden surrender, a prayer you begin again, a boundary you finally honor, a habit you lay down, a conversation you stop forcing, a morning where you choose, my word before fear writes the day for you. Do not despise small obedience. Small obedience can place your whole life back into holy alignment. Remember Abraham. I called him to leave the land he knew and go to a place I would show him. I did not give him every detail before he moved. Genesis chapter 12 says he went, as I had told him. My beloved child, obedience began before clarity became complete, and because he followed, he entered the flow of promise. So it will be with you. Some promises are reached through roads you cannot understand at first. Some appointments are found because you obeyed a quiet prompting. Some protection happens because you did not continue where I told you to stop. Some blessings are not delayed by my unwillingness, but by the heart remaining out of position. I am not saying this to accuse you. I am teaching you how alignment works. If a seed is placed on stone, it cannot grow as it was designed to grow. If a sail is turned away from the wind, the boat will not move as it could. If your heart keeps resisting my direction, you may still be loved, but you will not experience the fullness of the path I am opening. My beloved child, obedience does not make me love you more. My love is already set on you. Obedience allows you to walk in the life my love is giving. It does not buy my favor. It positions you to receive, carry, and steward what favor has already prepared. John chapter 14 verse 23 says that if anyone loves me, they will keep my word, and my Father will love them, and we will make our home with them. Obedience is not separation from intimacy. It is intimacy made visible. It is love becoming movement. It is trust taking form in the real choices of your life. There will be times when obedience feels costly. It may cost your pride. It may cost old comfort. It may cost the approval of people who only accepted the version of you that stayed afraid. It may cost the illusion of control. But my beloved child, what obedience removes is never greater than what disobedience would have stolen. Think of Jonah. I called him one way, but he ran another. His running did not erase my purpose, but it brought unnecessary storms. Even then I was merciful. I met him in the place of consequence and called him again. Do you see? I am patient, but I am also precise. I will keep calling you back to alignment because my purpose for you is not random. Do not wait for obedience to feel easy before you begin. Many holy steps are taken while the heart still trembles. Courage is not the absence of trembling. Courage is the decision to trust my voice more than the trembling. When I call you forward, I do not require perfect feelings. I ask for a yielded heart. My beloved child, there is also obedience in not moving too soon. The world praises speed, but I bless alignment. A rushed decision can look brave while being rooted in fear. A delayed step can look cautious while being disobedience. This is why you must listen closely. Do not measure the right path by pace alone. Measure it by peace, truth, and my leading. Proverbs chapter 3 verses 5 and 6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge me, and I will make your paths straight." A straight path is not always an easy path. It is a guided path. It is a path where my wisdom begins to order what confusion scattered. When you obey, I align timing, people, provision, protection, and purpose in ways you could never arrange by force. You may not see it immediately, but unseen things begin to move. The door that seemed far comes near. The conversation happens at the appointed time. The warning arrives before the wrong turn. The strength comes when you need it, not before. My beloved child, this is why obedience brings rest. You no longer have to manipulate the road. You no longer have to live in constant suspicion, asking whether you missed everything. When your heart is yielded, I know how to direct your steps. I know how to close what would harm you and open what will grow you. Let this become your prayer. Father, teach me to obey without fear. Teach me to wait without resentment. Teach me to move without striving. Teach me to stop without shame. Teach me to trust the step you are giving me today, even when I do not see the whole road. I will answer that prayer. I will make your heart sensitive without making it anxious. I will make your steps steady without making you rigid. I will teach you the holy rhythm of yes, no, wait, and go. Your future will unfold through surrendered steps, not restless guesses made in fear. And as obedience aligns you with what I am doing, you must also learn not to look back at what I have already cleansed. Alignment will carry you forward, but looking back can pull your heart into old places. This is where I will lead you next, my beloved child, because you must not return to what my mercy has washed away. My beloved child, as obedience begins to carry you forward, I want you to understand something very important. Do not look back at what my mercy has already cleansed. Do not return in your heart to the place from which I have been leading you out. Do not rebuild your identity from the ashes I have washed away. The past may still try to call your name. It may speak through memory, through regret, through familiar emotions, through the strange comfort of what you once knew. But my beloved child, not every familiar place is a safe place. Not every memory deserves a throne. Not every old door should be opened again simply because you know what is behind it. I am not asking you to pretend your past never happened. I am not asking you to erase the lessons, deny the pain, or act as though every wound was small. I am asking you not to live there anymore. There is a difference between remembering with wisdom and returning with longing. There is a difference between testimony and captivity. Isaiah chapter 43 verse 18 says, "Do not remember the former things, nor consider the things of old." Then comes the promise, "Behold, I am doing a new thing." My beloved child, the new thing requires your eyes to turn forward. If your heart keeps kneeling before yesterday, it will struggle to recognize what I am forming today. There were seasons when you survived by looking back. You studied what hurt you so you could avoid being hurt again. You replayed conversations because you wanted to understand. You searched old moments for answers that never came. I saw that. I understood it. But now I am calling you from replaying into receiving. From analysis into trust, from old grief into present grace. Do not let regret become a second prison. Regret may show you what needs wisdom, but it cannot become your home. You can learn without living under accusation. You can grieve without returning to bondage. You can honor what I taught you without carrying the smell of the old season into the new one. Remember Lot's wife. She was being pulled out of destruction, yet her heart turned back toward what was being judged. Genesis chapter 19 shows that looking back was not only a movement of the head, it revealed a divided attachment. My beloved child, I do not tell you this to frighten you, but to warn you with mercy. A backward gaze can freeze a forward calling. You may think, "Father, what if I still feel pulled toward what hurt me? What if old places still seem comforting? What if I miss what I know was not good for me?" My beloved child, I am not shocked by that struggle. The soul can become attached even to pain, when pain has become familiar. But familiarity is not covenant. Familiarity is not peace. Familiarity is not my approval. When I cleanse, I do not always erase the memory immediately. Sometimes I leave the memory but remove its power. Sometimes I allow you to remember but no longer be ruled by what you remember. Sometimes I let you look at the old place from a healed distance, so you can say I was there but I no longer belong there. 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 17 says, "If anyone is in Christ, they are a new creation. The old has passed away, and the new has come." My beloved child, this is not a slogan, it is a holy reality. You are not required to keep dressing yourself in what I have already called old. Do not wear the old shame. Do not wear the old fear. Do not wear the old name people gave you in a season when they did not understand my work in you. Do not wear the old patterns because they feel easier than learning freedom. Freedom can feel unfamiliar at first, but that does not make bondage safer. When the Israelites left Egypt, they had walked out of slavery, yet there were moments when their hearts remembered Egypt as if it had been comfort. Hunger and fear made the old prison seem better than the uncertain road of faith. My beloved child, this can happen in the soul. A person can be delivered outwardly and still need to be delivered inwardly from the desire to return. Exodus chapter 14 says, "I brought them through the sea. I made a path where there was no path." Yet, after deliverance, they still had to learn to trust me in the wilderness. So it is with you. I have brought you out, and I am teaching your heart not to rebuild Egypt in your thoughts. Do not romanticize what broke you. Do not soften the memory until it becomes a trap. Do not let loneliness rewrite the truth. Do not let fear tell you that the old bondage was better than the new obedience. My beloved child, what I removed had a reason. What I cleansed had a purpose. What I closed was not always punishment. Sometimes it was protection. Philippians chapter 3 verse 13 says, "Forgetting what lies behind and reaching forward to what lies ahead." This forgetting does not mean losing all memory. It means refusing to let the past decide your direction. It means your heart reaches forward, even when old echoes try to pull backward. There is a future I am forming in you that cannot be carried by the old version of your fear. There is a peace I am placing in you that cannot grow where shame keeps speaking. There is a calling ahead of you that requires your eyes to become steady. Do not turn back every time the past makes noise. My beloved child, walk forward gently. You do not have to run to prove you are free. You only need to keep turning toward me. One step of obedience, one prayer of surrender, one refusal to agree with the old lie, one decision not to reopen what my mercy closed. Let this become your prayer. Father, teach me to remember without returning. Teach me to learn without living in regret. Teach me to honor the lesson without carrying the chain. Teach me to trust the new thing you are doing even when the old thing calls my name. I will answer that prayer. I will steady your eyes. I will strengthen your steps. I will remind you that what is behind you has no authority to own you. Your past may explain parts of your journey, but it does not define your destination. I will teach you to carry wisdom without bitterness, memory without bondage, and scars without surrendering the future I have spoken over your life with mercy and peace. And if old emotions rise while you are moving forward, do not be afraid. Feeling something again does not always mean you are going backward. Sometimes it means another layer is being healed as you continue to walk. This is where I will lead you next, my beloved child, because old emotions rising does not mean you are returning to the old life. My beloved child, as you keep walking forward and refuse to return to what I have cleansed, do not be frightened when old emotions rise. Do not quickly accuse yourself of failing. Do not say, "I thought I was healed, so why do I still feel this?" A feeling returning does not always mean you are going backward. Sometimes it means another hidden root is finally ready to be touched by my mercy. There are memories that do not disappear simply because you have chosen a new path. There are griefs that surface after silence. There are fears that tremble when freedom becomes real. There are tears that come not because the wound is taking control again, but because the wound is losing its last hold on your heart. My beloved child, healing is not always a straight road. It is more like dawn spreading across a field. The light comes gradually. First one corner is touched, then another. Shadows remain for a while, but they no longer rule the day. When an old emotion appears, it may only be a shadow being reached by new light. Do not mistake exposure for defeat. Do not mistake tenderness for weakness. Do not mistake a wave of feeling for proof that you have returned to the old life. You are not the same person you were when that pain first entered. You are now walking with me. You are learning truth. You are being held by grace. Psalm chapter 147 verse 3 says that I heal the brokenhearted and bind up their wounds. Binding a wound is a careful work. It may require touching the place that hurts. It may require cleaning what was hidden. It may require patience while new strength forms beneath the surface. I do not rush this work because I heal deeply. You may remember something you thought you had forgotten. A word, a face, a season, a loss, a moment when your heart felt abandoned. When it rises, breathe. Bring it to me. Do not let the memory become your master. Let it become the place where I show you that my presence was never absent, even when you could not feel me. Remember Joseph. He stood before the brothers who had wounded him deeply. The past was no longer hidden. The memory was alive in front of him, yet he was not ruled by revenge. He could say, "You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good." Genesis chapter 50 verse 20 carries that holy truth. The pain was real, but it did not have the final word. My beloved child, this is what I am teaching you. Healing does not mean the past never existed. Healing means the past no longer has the authority to define your future. Healing means you can remember without being dragged back into the old prison. Healing means your heart can feel and still remain free. Sometimes emotions rise because I am showing you what still needs comfort. You may have forgiven, but a younger part of your heart still needs to know it is safe now. You may have moved forward, but a hidden place still expects the same wound to happen again. You may have surrendered, but your body still remembers the weight it carried for so long. I am tender with all of this. I do not shame the places that are slower to trust. I do not despise the tears that return. I do not ask the heart to become healed by pretending. I ask you to bring every returning emotion into my presence, where truth and comfort can meet. Isaiah chapter 42 verse 3 says that I will not break a bruised reed nor quench a faintly burning wick. My beloved child, if your strength feels small, I will not crush it. If your faith feels like a faint flame, I will not blow it out. I will protect it. I will breathe upon it. I will make it steady again. There may be days when you feel brave in the morning and fragile by night. There may be moments when a small reminder opens a door you did not expect. Do not use those moments as evidence against yourself. They are not verdicts. They are invitations. They are places where I am saying, let me come here too. Do not fight your heart as if it were your enemy. Your heart has carried much. It has tried to survive confusion, disappointment, silence, rejection, delay, and fear. Now I am teaching it a different way to live. It will need gentleness. It will need truth. It will need time in my presence. When old emotions rise, ask me what they are revealing. Are they showing fear that still needs my peace? Are they showing grief that still needs space to be mourned? Are they showing a boundary that needs to be honored? Are they showing a lie that still needs to be replaced? I can turn every rising emotion into a doorway for wisdom. My beloved child, do not give every emotion authority, but do not ignore every emotion either. Emotions are not always commands. They are often signals. Bring them to me before you obey them. Let my spirit discern what is true, what is old, what is fear, and what is an invitation to heal deeper. 2 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 5 speaks of taking thoughts captive. In the same way, bring the rising thoughts and feelings before me. Do not let them run your whole inner house. Let me examine them with you. Some will be released. Some will be comforted. Some will be corrected. Some will be transformed into wisdom. You are not returning to bondage because you felt pain. You return to bondage only when you surrender your direction to what I have already called you out of. If you feel sadness but keep walking with me, that is growth. If you feel fear but still choose truth, that is courage. If you remember but refuse to rebuild your identity there, that is freedom. My beloved child, let this become your prayer. Father, when old emotions rise, keep me from fear. Teach me to bring them into your light. Show me what still needs healing. Comfort what still aches. Correct what still believes a lie. Strengthen me to feel without returning, to remember without becoming captive, and to walk forward with peace. I will answer that prayer. I will meet you in every returning ache. I will steady you when memories speak loudly. I will remind you that healing is still moving, even when feelings rise. I will teach you to stand in the present without being owned by the past. And as you learn this, your voice will begin to return. Your dignity will rise from places where shame once sat. You will no longer call yourself weak because you feel. You will begin to stand upright again with a tender heart and a restored spirit. This is where I will lead you next, my beloved child, because your voice and dignity are returning as my love teaches you to stand upright again. My beloved child, man ben as old a mountain right? The part of you that learned to disappear in order to survive is being called back into the light. You were not created to live voiceless. You were not created to shrink so others could remain comfortable. You were not created to apologize for needing truth, peace, rest, respect, or space to breathe. There were seasons when silence felt safer than honesty. There were moments when keeping everything inside seemed easier than being misunderstood again. I saw those moments. My beloved child, I know the weight of words you never spoke. I know the prayers that stayed trapped behind your lips. I know the times you wanted to say, "This hurts," but you swallowed it. I know the times you wanted to say, "I am tired," but you kept smiling. I know the times you wanted to say, "This is not right," but fear told you to stay quiet. I am not angry at you for the silence you used to survive. I am not blaming you for the ways you tried to keep peace in places that did not know how to honor truth. But now I am teaching you the difference between holy peace and hidden pain. My peace does not require the burial of your voice. 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7 says that I have not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. My beloved child, your returning voice does not need to become loud to be real. It may begin as one honest sentence. It may begin as a quiet prayer. It may begin as a calm no. It may begin as the courage to stop agreeing with what has been crushing you. Dignity is not pride. Dignity is remembering that you belong to me. Dignity is standing in the truth that your soul is not cheap, your heart is not disposable, and your life is not an accident. Dignity does not make you hard. It makes you steady. It allows tenderness to remain without letting shame sit on the throne. Think of blind Bartimaeus sitting by the road. When he heard that Jesus was passing by, he cried out for mercy. Many told him to be quiet, but he cried out all the more. Mark chapter 10 tells how Jesus stopped and called him. My beloved child, the crowd tried to silence him, but mercy heard him. So it is with you. Voices around you and even voices inside you may say, "Do not speak, do not ask, do not hope, do not trouble anyone with your need." But I am stopping on the road of your life, and I am calling you forward. Your cry matters to me. Your need is not an interruption. Your voice is not a burden. When Bartimaeus came, he threw off his cloak. That cloak had been part of his old condition, part of how people recognized him in his need. My beloved child, there are old coverings you must throw aside too. The covering of shame, the covering of forced silence, the covering of always being agreeable because you fear rejection, the covering of pretending not to hurt. I am not calling you to speak from bitterness. I am calling you to speak from truth. I am not asking you to fight every person who misunderstood you. I am asking you to stop fighting against the dignity I placed within you. There is a holy way to stand, firm but not cruel, tender but not afraid, clear but not harsh. Proverbs chapter 31 verse 8 says to speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves. My beloved child, there are times when the one who needs that holy advocacy is the wounded place within you. Speak truth over the part of your heart that was silenced. Say you are not abandoned, you are not shame, you are not too much, you are not forgotten by God. Your dignity returns when you stop letting pain define your posture. You may still be healing, but you are not powerless. You may still feel tender, but you are not without strength. You may still remember, but you are not owned by what happened. You may still have tears, but tears do not cancel authority when your heart is held by me. My beloved child, I am lifting your head. Psalm chapter 3 verse 3 says that I am your glory and the lifter of your head. This is not only about your face, it is about your inner posture. I am lifting the part of you that has been bowed by fear, accusation, and long disappointment. I am teaching you to stand before me without hiding. There will be people who only know the quiet version of you. They may not understand when you begin to speak with clarity. They may call your healing rebellion. They may call your boundaries distance. They may call your restored dignity pride. Do not let every misunderstanding pull you back into silence. Let me examine your heart. Let me purify your motives. Then stand in peace. You do not need to shout to prove you have a voice. You do not need to explain everything to everyone to prove you are healed. Sometimes dignity is a calm refusal to return to old patterns. Sometimes it is choosing truth even when your voice trembles. Sometimes it is walking away from confusion without begging to be understood. My beloved child, your voice will grow stronger as you use it with me. Pray honestly, name what hurts, ask for what is wise, confess what is true, bless what is good, refuse the lie. Speak scripture over your inner life until the old voices lose their authority. Let this become your prayer. Father, return my voice without making me harsh. Restore my dignity without making me proud. Teach me to speak truth with love, to stand upright with humility, and to stop hiding the light you placed within me. I will answer that prayer. I will steady your voice. I will heal the fear beneath your silence. I will teach you when to speak and when to be still. I will restore your dignity in a way that honors me and protects what I am healing. Do not despise the small beginnings of this restoration. A voice that has been buried may return softly at first. A dignity that has been wounded may stand slowly at first. I do not rush what I am rebuilding. I strengthen you line by line, breath by breath, until the truth no longer feels foreign inside you, but becomes the ground beneath your feet. Stay close to me as this happens with peace and courage now. And as your voice returns, I will also teach you wisdom. A restored voice must learn holy boundaries, so it does not return to places where harm is called love. This is where I will lead you next. My beloved child, because boundaries are wisdom, not bitterness. My beloved child, now that your voice and dignity are returning, I want to teach you how to protect what I am healing within you. A restored voice needs wisdom. A tender heart needs holy order. A soul that has been lifted must not return to places where it was slowly bent again. This is why I teach you boundaries. Boundaries are not bitterness. Boundaries are not revenge. Boundaries are not a cold wall built to punish another person. Boundaries are wisdom placing a gate around what is sacred. They say this is where love may enter with honor, and this is where disorder must stop. They do not close your heart to my love. They guard your heart so my love can remain pure within you. My beloved child, you have sometimes confused love with limitless access. You thought if you loved someone, you had to allow every behavior, absorb every wound, and keep opening the same door no matter how much pain entered through it. But love without wisdom becomes exhaustion. Mercy without discernment can be twisted by those who do not honor truth. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23 says, "To guard your heart with all diligence, for from it flow the springs of life." Notice this carefully. I do not tell you to harden your heart. I tell you to guard it. A guarded spring can still give water. A guarded heart can still love, but it no longer allows poison to be poured into the place where life should flow. There are people you can forgive without giving them the same access again. There are situations you can release without returning to them. There are conversations you can end without hatred. There are patterns you can name without becoming cruel. My beloved child, this is not bitterness. This is maturity. Forgiveness releases the debt from your heart. A boundary protects the future from repeated harm. Forgiveness says, I refuse to carry hatred. A boundary says, I refuse to keep handing my healing back to what keeps wounding it. These are not enemies. They are both part of wisdom when they are led by my spirit. Remember Nehemiah while he rebuilt the wall. His enemies tried to distract him. They invited him to come down to leave the work to answer their pressure. But he said he was doing a great work and could not come down. My beloved child, there are moments when you must answer old patterns the same way. I am doing a great work in this heart and I cannot come down. Nehemiah chapter 6 shows that not every invitation deserves your presence. Not every demand deserves your energy. Not every accusation deserves a long explanation. Sometimes wisdom is staying on the wall, continuing the work and refusing to leave the place of obedience because someone else is uncomfortable with your healing. My beloved child, boundaries will feel strange if you learn to survive by pleasing. At first, even a calm no may feel like rebellion. Asking for space may feel selfish. Speaking the truth may feel dangerous. But trembling does not always mean you are wrong. Sometimes trembling means you are doing something new after years of being trained to disappear. I will teach you to set boundaries without hatred. You do not need to become sharp to become firm. You do not need to raise your voice to be clear. You do not need to explain until you are empty. A simple, peaceful sentence can carry holy strength when it comes from truth. This is not right. I need time. I cannot continue this pattern. I will not return to that place. Matthew chapter 5 verse 37 says, "Let your yes be yes and your no be no." My beloved child, clarity is not cruelty. A pure yes has meaning only when your no is also allowed to exist. If you say yes while your heart is being crushed by fear, that yes is not freedom. I am teaching you honest agreement, not fearful surrender. Boundaries also reveal what has been hidden in relationships. Some people will honor your healing. Some will resist it because they benefited from your silence. Some will call your peace distance because they preferred your confusion. Do not judge too quickly, but do not ignore the fruit. Matthew chapter 7 verse 16 says, "You will know them by their fruits." Watch what happens when truth enters. Watch whether there is humility, patience, respect, and willingness to grow. Watch whether there is pressure, anger, blame, or manipulation. My beloved child, discernment is not suspicion. It is seeing with open eyes and a heart guided by my peace. Even Jesus did not entrust himself to everyone because he knew what was in man. John chapter 2 verses 24 and 25 carry this truth. Perfect love did not mean careless access. Holy compassion did not mean surrendering discernment. If my son walked with wisdom, do not think wisdom makes you less loving. There are boundaries of time, boundaries of speech, boundaries of emotional access, boundaries around your body, your home, your calling, your prayer life, and your peace. Some boundaries are spoken. Some are lived quietly. Some are temporary while healing takes place. Some remain because wisdom has shown you the fruit clearly. My beloved child, bring every boundary to me. Do not build it from fear alone. Do not build it from pride. Do not build it from the desire to punish. Let me search your heart. Let me remove bitterness. Let me remove revenge. Let me remove the need to control. Then let me strengthen the boundary that remains after love and truth have examined it. A holy boundary will not make you feel superior. It will make you responsible. It will help you love without losing yourself. It will help you forgive without returning to cycles of harm. It will help you remain tender without becoming available to every disorder that knocks. Galatians chapter 5 verse 1 says to stand firm in the freedom for which Christ has made you free, and do not submit again to a yoke of slavery. My beloved child, some boundaries are the way you stand firm. They are the way you refuse to place the old yoke around your neck again. Let this become your prayer. Father, teach me boundaries without bitterness. Teach me firmness without cruelty. Teach me mercy without self-abandonment. Teach me to guard what you are healing and still keep my heart open to your love. I will answer that prayer. I will make you wise and gentle. I will show you what to release, what to repair, what to refuse, and what to leave in my hands. You will learn to protect peace without closing love, and to keep compassion alive without returning to what once wounded you deeply. And as you learn holy boundaries, something larger will begin to happen. The old cycle will stop passing through you. What once repeated in silence will meet truth in your life. This is where I will lead you next, my beloved child, because you are the place where the old cycle ends. My beloved child, as you learn holy boundaries, something larger is happening within you. You are not only protecting your own heart, you are becoming the place where an old cycle ends. What once passed through silence will meet truth in you. What once moved through fear will meet my peace in you. What once repeated through pain will stop at the door of a heart I am healing. You may have inherited more than memories. You may have inherited ways of surviving, ways of staying quiet, ways of apologizing for pain you did not create, ways of carrying burdens that belong to others, ways of calling exhaustion love, silence, peace, and self-abandonment humility. My beloved child, I saw every layer. I saw what was handed to you. But I am telling you now, you are not required to continue what wounded you. You can honor people without repeating their chains. You can have compassion for the stories that came before you without letting those stories become the law of your future. You can understand why others lived in fear and still choose not to build your home there. Deuteronomy chapter 30 verse 19 says, I have set before you life and death, blessing and curse. Choose life. My beloved child, choosing life is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is quiet. It is refusing to speak to yourself with the same harshness you received. It is refusing to hide truth just to preserve false peace. It is refusing to pass your unhealed pain into the next relationship, the next family, the next season. The old cycle may say, stay silent because speaking brings trouble. I say, speak truth in love. The old cycle may say, endure everything because that is what makes you good. I say, walk in wisdom. The old cycle may say, distrust everyone because pain always returns. I say, let me heal your discernment so you can love without blindness and guard without fear. My beloved child, this work may not be seen by crowds. There may be no applause when you choose a different response. No one may celebrate the moment you stop a bitter sentence before it leaves your mouth. No one may notice when you pray instead of reacting, rest instead of proving, forgive without returning to harm, or set a boundary without hatred. But heaven sees. Remember Gideon. He lived under fear, hiding while oppression covered the land. Yet I called him mighty warrior before he felt mighty. Then I asked him to tear down the altar in his father's house and build a new altar to me. Judges chapter 6 shows that the work began close to home. Before public victory, there was private obedience. Before deliverance spread outward, an old altar had to come down. So it is with you. Some old altars must fall within your inner life. The altar of fear, the altar of shame, the altar of people-pleasing, the altar of anger passed down as protection, the altar of silence passed down as wisdom, the altar of striving passed down as worth. My beloved child, I am not removing these things to leave you empty. I am making room for worship, peace, and truth. You may feel nervous when you choose differently. Gideon was afraid, yet he obeyed. Do not despise obedience that trembles. A trembling step can still be holy. A quiet boundary can still be powerful. A soft refusal can still break a pattern that has ruled for years. I am not asking you to feel fearless before you follow me. I am asking you to trust me while I teach your heart courage. The old cycle ends when you stop agreeing with the lie that pain must be repeated because it has been repeated before. The old cycle ends when you bring hidden wounds into my light instead of handing them to someone else through reaction. The old cycle ends when you let truth interrupt what fear has normalized. The old cycle ends when you choose healing over familiarity. My beloved child, do not be discouraged if the old pattern resists. Cycles that have lived for a long time do not always fall silently. Fear may accuse you. Guilt may whisper that you are dishonoring someone. Loneliness may tempt you to return to what is familiar. But I will steady you. I will teach you the difference between honoring the past and obeying its bondage. 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 17 says that if anyone is in Christ, they are a new creation. The old has passed away, the new has come. This is not only about your private comfort. It is about a new nature forming in you, a new way of seeing, loving, speaking, forgiving, resting, and walking. I am making you a living interruption to what once seemed inevitable. Where others expected fear, you will learn peace. Where others expected bitterness, you will learn mercy with truth. Where others expected silence, you will learn honest speech. Where others expected repeated wounds, you will learn a different rhythm through my spirit. My beloved child, this does not mean you will never make mistakes. It means mistakes will no longer become masters. If you react from the old wound, return to me quickly. If you speak from pain, let me cleanse your tongue. If fear rises, bring it into my presence. Do not use one difficult moment as proof that nothing has changed. Growth is not the absence of struggle. Growth is learning to return to my truth faster. The old cycle ends through surrender. It ends in the choices. It ends when you let me father the places that were never properly loved. It ends when you stop making vows from pain. It ends when you stop saying, "This is just who I am," and begin saying, "Father, make me new." Ezekiel chapter 36 verse 27 says, "I will put my spirit within you and cause you to walk in my ways." My beloved child, you are not breaking the old cycle by willpower alone. My spirit is within you. My grace is teaching you. My hand is holding you steady while you learn what freedom feels like. Let this become your prayer. Father, let the old pattern end with me. Heal what I inherited. Cleanse what I repeated. Forgive what I carried wrongly. Teach me to choose life, truth, peace, and love. Make my heart a place where fear loses its voice and your spirit becomes the rhythm of my days. I will answer that prayer. I will make your life a testimony of interruption and renewal. I will turn wounds into wisdom, silence into prayer, fear into discernment and pain into compassion that no longer bleeds on others. I will teach you to bless without returning to bondage. And as the old cycle ends, a new season will open before you. Not a season built on denial, but on healed truth. Not a future ruled by yesterday, but a path filled with my light. This is where I will lead you next, my beloved child, because you are ready to walk into the new season with light. My beloved child, as the old cycle ends within you, I am opening a new season before you. Do not step into it with fear. Do not step into it carrying the old names, the old shame, or the old expectation that pain must repeat itself. Step into it with light. This new season is not built on denial. I am not asking you to forget the road you have walked. I am asking you to walk forward knowing that what once wounded you has now become part of the testimony I am forming. The past will no longer lead you. My light will. Isaiah chapter 60 verse 1 says, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you." My beloved child, this is not a call to perform. It is a call to rise from the place where fear kept you low. It is a call to stop living as though darkness still has the right to define your posture. You have been awakened by mercy. You have heard my gentle voice. You have learned to listen like Samuel. You have discovered that awakening is not punishment. You have brought me tears. You have allowed the old heart to soften. You have passed through cleansing. You have watched me tear down to rebuild. You have seen that what is revealed is meant to be healed. Now, my beloved child, you are not standing where you stood at the beginning. Something in you has changed. Even if the world around you looks similar, your inner ground is different. The old confusion no longer speaks with the same authority. The old shame no longer sits as deeply on your shoulders. The old fear no longer owns every doorway. This is what light does. It does not always change every circumstance in one moment. It changes how you walk through them. It teaches you to see what you once missed. It shows you the difference between pressure and peace, between truth and accusation, between love and control, between memory and bondage. Psalm chapter 119 verse 105 says that, "My word is a lamp to your feet and a light to your path." My beloved child, I will not always show you every mile ahead, but I will give you enough light for the step before you. Do not demand the whole road before you trust the next instruction. A new season does not mean there will be no storms. It means you will not walk through storms as the old version of yourself. You will carry a steadier heart. You will know where to run for shelter. You will recognize my voice more quickly. You will no longer confuse every hard moment with abandonment. Remember Joshua after Moses died. A great chapter had ended, and a new one stood before him. I did not tell him to pretend the loss was small. I told him to be strong and courageous, because I would be with him wherever he went. Joshua chapter 1 verse 9 carries that promise. My beloved child, courage is not the absence of change. Courage is walking into change with my presence as your assurance. So walk, not recklessly, not proudly, not as one who believes they can never be shaken. Walk humbly with me. Walk with eyes open. Walk with a heart that remains tender but no longer unguarded. Walk with boundaries that are wise and words that are truthful. There are people you will bless because you are healing. There are rooms you will enter with a different peace. There are conversations where your old reaction will no longer control you. There are moments when someone expects the old silence, the old fear, or the old surrender. But my light within you will answer with calm truth. Matthew chapter 5 verse 16 says, "Let your light shine before others, so they may see your good works and give glory to your Father in heaven." My beloved child, your light is not for self-display. It is for witness. It is for hope. It is so others may see that I still restore, still cleanse, still rebuild, still free, and still lead my children into life. Do not hide what I have healed. You do not need to tell every detail to every person, but do not live ashamed of my work in you. Your peace can testify. Your boundaries can testify. Your forgiveness can testify. Your refusal to return to bondage can testify. Your quiet joy can testify. There will be moments when you feel tempted to dim your light because others are uncomfortable with your change. Do not return to smallness to make darkness feel safe. Stay humble, but do not disappear. Stay gentle, but do not surrender the freedom I have given. Stay compassionate, but do not call old bondage love. 2 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 17 says, "Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. My beloved child, carry that freedom with reverence. Freedom is not doing whatever the flesh demands. Freedom is being able to obey me without chains pulling your heart backward. Freedom is peace with truth. Freedom is love without slavery. Freedom is a voice restored without bitterness. Let your new season be marked by communion. Keep listening, keep praying, keep returning to my word, keep letting me search your heart. Do not assume that one breakthrough means you no longer need daily guidance. A lamp must be held close to the path. Stay close to me, and your steps will remain clear. I will guide you into places where your healed heart can bring life. I will teach you when to speak and when to stay quiet. I will show you when to move and when to wait. I will give you discernment for doors, wisdom for relationships, courage for obedience, and rest for your soul. My beloved child, do not fear the new. The new may feel unfamiliar, but unfamiliar does not mean unsafe. You once knew bondage well, but that did not make it life. Now you are learning freedom, and freedom may feel wide. Let me teach you how to walk in wide places without fear. Psalm chapter 18 verse 19 says, that I brought you out into a broad place. I am not leading you into emptiness. I am leading you into spaciousness, a place where your heart can breathe, a place where your voice can live, a place where peace can grow without being strangled by yesterday. Let this become your prayer. Father, lead me into this new season with light. Keep my heart close to you. Let me walk without returning to fear. Let my life carry healing truth, wisdom, and love. Make me a witness of your mercy, not by perfection, but by surrender. I will answer that prayer. I will walk with you. I will keep you. I will finish what I began. Go forward, my beloved child. The urgent message has awakened you, healed you, strengthened you, and called you into light. Walk in that light, live in that light, and let my presence shine through you.